So about 10 years ago, I was searching for the one and I was looking everywhere. And then one day I realized that I found him. And if you've been looking for the one, today may be your lucky day because for you, I have the one. The new Elinchrom One is a 131 watt-second battery-powered monolight capable of high-speed sync and TTL. In full disclosure, they sent it to me a few weeks ago and I've used it on a few client shoots and on a few model test shoots. Its nearest competitor is the ProPhoto B10, which is rated at 250 watt-seconds. But keep in mind that watt-seconds is only a measurement of input power and not of output power. I'm told that with the Magnum reflector on both lights, ProPhoto's Magnum reflector, that the ProPhoto light will produce about 50% more light coming out the front, even though given the watt-second rating, you would expect it to be about double the light. And on top of all of that, the Elinchrom light comes in about half the price of the ProPhoto light, which makes it very interesting. So let's go over the specs point by point. So the Elinchrom One weighs in at 3.3 pounds, and I'll put the kilograms on the screen below. It's about the size of a 70 to 200 2.8 or a regular cup of coffee here in the civilized world. Its internal battery is capable of producing 725 full power flashes. In the real world, on my first charge, I was able to get 925 images, and I was probably shooting between maybe half power and full power. And speaking of charge, you're able to charge the battery with any USB-C charger or battery-powered device. And while you're charging it, or powering it, I guess, depending on how you look at it, you are able to keep shooting. It won't slow you down at all, so when the battery runs out, just plug it in and keep going. Elinchrom also makes their own battery for the One, and it will extend its life by 1.5 times or 1100 full power flashes. The light is natively compatible with any ProPhoto modifier, and it can be adapted with the included adapter to the Elinchrom system. At minimum power, it will put out just 7 watt-seconds, which is 0.1 on the Elinchrom scale, and at maximum power, 131 watt-seconds, or 4.3 on their scale. It will recycle in 0.06 seconds at minimum power and 0.9 seconds at maximum power. The flash duration at minimum power is 1/7000th of a second, and it is 1/625th of a second at full power. One of the key features of the One is that it has an unconcealed flash tube, which means that the flash tube sits out a little bit and it can produce a beam spread around 160 degrees. Whereas the ProPhoto monolights only produce a beam spread that's around 70 degrees. In fact, this is a big reason why I switched from ProPhoto to Elinchrom. When I was testing my ProPhoto D1 and I put it in their own 150 centimeter or 5-foot octabox, it produced a 90 centimeter or 3-foot hotspot that then fell off to the edges. It didn't even efficiently fill their own modifier, and I think it's because it's designed for the pro heads. Also, when putting it into a beauty dish, the light from their monolight was a lot flatter than the light from their pro heads, whereas the Elinchrom system all has this unconcealed flash tube which puts out a nice beam which should more efficiently fill everything from beauty dishes to octaboxes. And so that's a key reason why I'm using Elinchrom over other systems. On the back of the light, you'll find an LED touchscreen with a graphic user interface that's even more updated than the ELB 500 and ELC 500 units. And to top it all off, you can change the white balance of the LED modeling light from 2700 Kelvin up to 6500 Kelvin, and that modeling light will run for 100 minutes on the battery, meaning that there may be some videography or video capabilities for this light. However, I haven't tested it. In fact, I'm using my NAND lights for this video right now. So, is it enough power? Well, Elinchrom sent me this light a few weeks ago, and I used it on a couple of client shoots, and I also used it on a few model test shoots. And I'm going to share the results from those shoots with you right now. So this very first one that I did was with our model Kassan, and I had him posing outdoors in the late afternoon, the golden hour, with his back to the sun. On the one, I used an Elinchrom Maxi white reflector, and the Maxi is very similar to the Pro Photo Magnum, only in this case it's white on the interior. And bouncing off of a white surface, in theory, should warm up the color temperature of the light, and that should better match the late afternoon sun. I shot in TTL and High Speed Sync, and it worked out great. So on most of these shots, I shot at 1/3200th of a second at f2 at ISO 100. Then, as the sun got closer to the horizon, I used a Deep Octa 100, that's an octabox, in there fairly close, and I shot at 1/800th of a second at f2.5 at ISO 100. And admittedly, I was using full power at this time, and I probably should have dialed it back about 2/3 of a stop and let that sunlight that's hitting his abs have a little more impact on the photos. I actually recorded a 1-hour long tutorial during this shoot that goes over how to augment natural light with flash. And if you're interested in checking it out, it's on my members only website, The Academy with John Gress. There is actually a 3-day free trial, so you could check it out with no obligation. Just go to johngress.com/academy for more information. I also did a test shoot with Christian, and on this one I had him pose near a window, and I used High Speed Sync once again. I shot at 1/800th of a second at f2 at ISO 100, but this time I had the light in the Rotalux indirect 150 centimeter deep octabox, and I was using the light at full power, and it worked well to sort of balance that ambient with flash. I also augmented this shot with an ELB 500 and a small strip hair light that was boomed out and over the set. For our next look, the sun got a little bit lower in the sky, and that meant that light was coming in through the windows. And so I posed Christian in front of that window, but this time I needed a little bit more light. So I took the outer diffusion off of the Rotalux, and that got me about 2/3 of a stop more power. And I moved it in a little bit, and that got me 1/3 more stop of power. So I was able to shoot with the one put at 4.3 or full power. I was able to shoot at 1/1600th of a second at f2 at ISO 100, and therefore I had a nice balance between that sunlight coming through the window and the light lighting Christian's face. And then for the third and final look, I used 2 strip lights, one over each shoulder, 1 strip light for the hair light, a optical snoot with a blind gobo placed behind him, and then more importantly, I had a white Maxi reflector up front, boomed in that beauty dish position, with the one inside turned down to 0.1, and at that power setting, I was still shooting at 1/200th of a second at f6.3 with 100 ISO. My hair light and my kickers are usually around 35 to 75 watt seconds, so I can see the one working out perfectly in those positions. When you're using a light in a beauty dish, often it's super low, somewhere between 7 and 35 watt seconds as well. So I think the one could be a perfect choice for that. I'm sure I'm going to also use it on location in all sorts of octaboxes, just because of the general ease of use when I'm going to shoot, you know, commercially at someone's office or that sort of thing. Also, I just got a focusable parabolic reflector from Parabolics, and I'll probably use it a lot on the focusing rod, and that's because it only weighs 3.3 pounds and it shouldn't put a lot of force overall onto the mount. So there is one thing that I think you should be aware of when it comes to this light. There are 2 ways that you can adapt it to the Elinchrom system. You can use the included adapter, which is rubber, and it just sort of slides on here, and it gets really close to this removable mount. Now the good thing about this removable mount is that you can take it off for hand holding if you wanted to position and shoot with the light or something, or you could take it off for storage. It does have a knob to tighten it, which is actually could be key to what I'm about to say. So moving it back, you can use this adapter, the rubber one that's included. It doesn't have any sort of mechanics or anything like that that locks the modifier in place. It's just simple tension that keeps it on there. I actually used during the shoot with Kassan and Christian this adapter that Elinchrom makes that goes from the Pro Photo system to the Elinchrom system, from Pro Photo to Elinchrom. And so when I had it on the front, you can only get it on about that far. And that means that all of the weight is further forward of this axis, one of those words. It's further forward than this adapter. And so when I was using this adapter outside with the Maxi, I noticed that over the course of about 3 minutes, the light drooped from where I had it to, maybe down a little lower into this position. When I put the Deep Octa 100 on there, it drooped significantly. And so I was quite concerned about this, and I was thinking that maybe having a lever instead of a knob would have been a better solution. But when I got to the studio today, I grabbed this adapter and I put it on my 70 centimeter Deep Octa, and it held it for an hour. I then put it on the Maxi White. It also held it for an hour. And then I put it on the 135 centimeter Rotalux Octabox, and it held it just fine. So just know that if you are if you're adapting this to the Elinchrom modifier system, you have two choices, and this one may cause your light to droop, and this one probably will not. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope all of that made sense. If you have any questions or comments, just leave those below. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.